Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the More Deals Mastermind, the Friday special edition. And it is America's birthday tomorrow, so we're super excited to celebrate. Hope everybody's having a good day out there. So let's go around the horn and just kind of these are the questions that I've prepared for today. And this is a no agenda Q&A. So we meet every Friday, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. And our goal is to grow our business, get more deals. And that, I think we can get a consensus that that is what it's all about. Let's go over some questions. Who prospected this week? Put it in the chat box. How many hours did you spend prospecting this week? Put it in the chat. Tell me how many hours prospecting, meaning I've reached out to buyers, sellers, investors, or agents. If you're growing your team, you certainly want to reach out to agents. If you are a listing agent, you want to talk to as many FSBOs, expireds, pre-foreclosure. You want to have conversations with sellers because that is what it's all about. If we're not prospecting, I was told we're not working. So that's just what kind of my philosophy is. Who prospected this week? Who reached out to buyers, sellers, investors, and agents? Go ahead and put it in the chat. I see Gary, 5 hours. Great. Let's check it out. Let's see what we got here in the chat. Let's go over it. Let's see. We've got Gary, 5 hours. John, great. I did for 8 hours. Fantastic. Brian Beck, 4 hours. Excellent. The question I have for you, John, in those 8 hours, what were your results? Did you have some good conversations? Did you get listing agreements? Did you get properties in the MLS? What did that 8 hours produce for you?
I have several buyers I found that are looking pretty good. Some great conversations. I just talked to a guy who he was very close to buying a new build and backed out because he only had 200,000 to put down, and that would leave him with too much of a payment, and never thought that he wants to save up another 100,000, figures it'll take him 5 or 6 months. It's like, well, he's working with a builder, right? So go under contract, and they're not going to care if you have an extra 100 grand by closing. So I will get him out next week. That was probably one of the hottest ones, but several
Excellent.
really good buyer conversations.
And do you think those contacts, those conversations would have started without you initiating something, whether it be a phone call,
Oh,
whether it be a text message, whether it be a social media post, whether it be your CRM dripping on them? We need to be proactively reaching out to our buyers, sellers, investors, and agents. So, John, great job. I think that's the biggest thing we need to do. I would also sprinkle in some prospecting for FSBOs and expireds, because I can tell
yeah.
you this, that is the lowest hanging fruit in any market.
I would love to do that. I want to move this whole 14-day close system forward.
Yeah.
And I'm just so overwhelmed with it and don't know where to start. I need a script and some ideas of where I go with those FSBOs.
Mm-hmm.
And once I get them interested, the steps from there. And it's like there's a number of steps, and I just don't have my head around it yet.
Well, I'd be more than happy to sit down with you or even share those on this call. Scripts, it all starts with who you're contacting. You got to identify who you're contacting first. Then you need to reach out to them. Now I use My Plus Leads for FSBOs, expireds, and pre-foreclosure. It seems to be the best list that I can come up with. I've used RedX, I've used LandVoice, all great companies. There's lots of tools out there, but My Plus Leads has shown me the best information that I've seen. So it just seems to be the most effective, most cost effective as well. But also the data is about as close as you can get with name, address, phone number, details on the property. So I'll drop a link on 14-day home offers in the chat. If anybody wants to check it out, I've created a 14-day free trial. Check it out. But I'd word of caution: don't sign up for it until you're ready, because here's what happens. Oh, I'll get to it. And the 14 days expires, and then you're out of luck. So I'll go ahead and drop that in the chat. John, great. Thanks for sharing. Who would like to go next? I got Gary. You got 5 hours of prospecting.
Yeah, it was it's not consistent and I want to do more. I'm just an unfocused person.
You know what? I think it starts with your identifying what the issue is.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of us all blame it on other things, but it's
Wow.
actually, if it's to be, it's up to me. My dad always told me. So I think identifying it is the first issue. So that's
Yeah.
great. I would recommend time blocking. You know,
Yeah.
there's two things that absolutely happen, whether you like it or not. Waking up and going to bed. Those are things that should be on your calendar. I wake up at this time, I go to bed at this time. What are you going to do with all that stuff in between?
Right.
And prospecting in our business is, I think, the most important thing. Whether you're calling, texting, emailing, sending smoke signals, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But prospecting should be on your calendar like an appointment. And
Well,
I always recommend 90 minutes of focused, uninterrupted, TV off, phone, get everything out of the way and focus on prospecting. I would recommend FSBOs and expireds. That's me, because listings create a ton of buyers. I use this example a lot. We had an open house not too long ago. We had 170 groups through the doors that had agents with their buyers, 170 buying groups. We had 130 buying groups without an agent. You take a listing and the buyers just come to you. It's a great way to build your team if that's what you're doing, because I certainly can't do as many listings as I'd like to do and hold those open at the same time. It's just not going to happen. We need to leverage ourselves. So I think the biggest thing is we need to prospect sellers, and the buyers will come, the investors will come, and the agents will come. So I would be more than happy, John, to sit down with you and walk you through the scripts, who to call, what to say, how to schedule the appointment, and how to do the presentation. Because that is what it's all about. Scheduling the appointment is the number one goal when you're prospecting. That's it. It's not to have a conversation other than when can we meet? That's the only thing. That's the only goal. So many agents get somebody on the phone. They're all excited. Oh my God, this is great. And well, let me tell you how great I am. And I can do all these things. And no, schedule the appointment. Do the appointment. Get prepared like you would a normal listing presentation. I do all mine via Zoom, much easier. Takes me 15, 20 minutes to get ready. And then boom, I do a 30-minute presentation. First 3 to 5 minutes is coming up with the price. Most sellers are a little ambitious for their sales price. That's so I'll walk you through all that, John, if you'd like, and I can even share it on this call if we time permitting. Let's see, Brian Beck, you had 4 hours of prospecting. Tell me how that was. What good, what bad, what came of that?
Yeah, well, I'm spending a lot of time. I'm with Smarty's group, and we're building websites from scratch and everything. So, but I got my plus leads, and they go right into campaigns and everything. So I get people calling me, so I set up. I've got I guess 3 appointments next week with some expired sellers.
Excellent. We almost need a Smarty's group, by the way, for those of you not involved in Smarty's group. I would recommend you take a look at it. I just started with it. It is blowing my mind. There's a lot of moving parts, but man, once you get it set up, you're cooking with gas. So yeah. We should almost have a Smarty support group and come back and say, okay, let's share what's working for you. What obstacles are you? Are you just getting started? Let's pair you up with somebody else that's just getting started. And maybe there's a mentor we can have and say, hey, I'm ahead of you. Let me show you what I've done. Let me show you how I got to where I'm at. So I would welcome anyone that's proficient on Smarty's program or iList, the cash offers platform, or Seller Assist, the online offers platform. This is where we come to share those things. We need running buddies. We need people that we can rely on saying, hey, help me get to where I need to go. I can help you with scripts. I can help you with obviously who to call, what to say, how to schedule the appointment. That's where I do my best work. So Brian, I think that you're heading in the right direction, brother, and it's always good to see you. I know we've been on a lot of the same calls for a lot of years.
Yeah. I was curious about this. You're doing kind of the old home boss thing, right? I mean,
yeah, the online offer strategy, there's multiple different platforms, but yes. So if you were to compare it to Home Boss, yes. Home Boss, great platform. Bob does a great job. And but yes, that's I do the 14-day home offers process. The platform is a platform. It's like a race car. You've got the car, but then you have the driver. If you have a great car and a terrible driver, it doesn't going to matter. And you flip those around, it's the same. So that's what
So
I teach the
I think I
process.
understood that you were modifying some of it though, as far as I tried. I'm in a kind of a small market here. I'm in Lewis, Delaware,
Mhm.
so it's sort of a resort area and kind of small. And I ran a few of them. I couldn't get anywhere near the numbers to make it work out to get the bidding I needed to get it into anything sellable.
The one thing to remember, Brian, is the buyer pool is the buyer pool. You can't really change that. But what you can do is remember that it only takes two to constitute a bidding war. So if you
Yeah,
do all the marketing, do all the things that you need to do to drive eyes to those websites first, and drive bodies to that open house, and if
yeah,
you need to condense that showing time to 1 hour, you need to identify, and you can usually tell what you need to do in terms of condensing that open house showing window is
right,
by the views. Because remember, here's my system. I'll take the listing on a Friday. We'll go coming soon Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We go live Monday, no showings until Saturday, Sunday. Now,
right,
if you can see the views on Zillow, you can see how many views, you can see how many saves, and if your traffic is smaller, then you condense the showing windows, because the magic happens when you get everybody in the kitchen bumping into each other. If that
right,
means just 1 hour of a showing window, then that's what you do, because
right,
open houses that are spread out have a buyer here, then crickets, another buyer, crickets. Bad strategy. Squeeze the showing window, and even if you only have 4 or 5 interested parties, those 4 or 5 interested parties get a chance to see each other and go, wow,
right.
everybody wants what I want.
Yeah,
FOMO's kicking in.
yeah,
That's what I would do. I see that all the time, is agents stay with the same open house schedule, but the buyer pool is much smaller. We need that week to fill the buyer pool. You send out calls, texts, emails. You send out the message to the world. You want to invite the world to your open house. You want to
right.
let everybody know. You want to get the doors in the neighborhood. You want to pull out all the stops and make it the biggest event of your life, and just condense that window by seeing the views.
Well, we have the automation now to get the word out for sure.
Oh yeah, there's certainly automation. I would do everything you can. You e-blast, social media, texting, do video, do everything. I like hitting doors in the neighborhood and inviting the neighbors to come and give me their opinion of what this home should sell for. They love doing that. They
You
can't
plan
wait
to
to
come
give me
at
their
the same hour as when open house?
well, it depends on what kind of buyer pool you have. If it's a small market and you have a small buyer pool, I'd shove everybody into the same showing window
Right.
as possible. Typically, what I do, if it's a really popular property, I'll do a VIP for neighbors only, and I'll
Yeah.
go around the neighborhood Thursday and Friday and inviting them to the VIP neighbors only showing. Ask for their opinion of value, so the conversation is real estate related. You get to know about the market, you get to know about the neighborhood, but do a showing window just for them, because more times than not, the neighbors that come to the open house are having some kind of thoughts of maybe what their home is worth, maybe they're looking to sell. And I
Yeah.
get sellers all the time coming to my open houses and literally going, I want this, and they point to the line of people in line, whether it's a few people. Sellers aren't used to that kind of traffic. They're like, wow, this is what I want this. So
Right.
there's a system and a process, and we can cover that on these calls if you'd like to, because it's what's working.
So
Yeah.
Robert,
So I was wondering about the number of people that you have running the open houses when you've got that kind of crowd.
It depends on the crowd. I typically have on an average open house, I'll get anywhere between 200 and 400, depending on the property. And I'll have 2 to 3 agents, depending. Remember, I'm checking the views. I'm seeing what kind of interest we're showing, because views are one thing, saves are entirely different. Saves constitutes more of this is what kind of open house traffic you should see. That's when
Hmm.
somebody saves the property in Zillow, for example, it's using that as a CRM, and it's reminding them, hey, Brian, oh, don't forget the open house at 123 Main Street. If you've saved it, you get reminders from Zillow. So it depends on how much action I have on the websites, how many views, how many saves, but usually 2 agents will suffice. Sometimes you need 3, depending on the people. And if it's like a Kathy Ryan open house where she had 884 people, she had a handful of them. It just all depends on the views and the interest leading up to that weekend.
Yeah.
And it's always good to have a lender there too. Your lenders love you when you get, you get 170 buyers without agents, you get 100, I mean, it's just the amount of traffic that these guys can get. And I find when the lender's on site, it's a much more productive afternoon for our buyer agents.
Yeah. I always bring a lender with me.
Yeah.
So, yeah, also I'm interested in, if you have time going through your script for the open, what do you call it? The Zoom call. I want to start doing everything by Zoom.
The listing presentation.
Yeah.
I'll absolutely show you that. I'll write that down as something to go over. I shared it a couple of weeks ago, and I don't want to bore people with it, but I'll certainly give you the condensed version. And also I'll send you to a video, and I'll get you that as well. So yeah, we'll do the listing presentation. And basically when you prospect them, you're calling, you're talking to them, however you're getting a hold of them, schedule the appointment. Once you schedule the appointment, you schedule the Zoom call just like you would if you have Calendly. I use Calendly, and I know with Pro Edge, Smarties, this platform is going to eliminate that, but I'm currently using Calendly, and I'll just schedule the Calendly appointment, and I'll block off a half an hour before that appointment, and that's when I prepare. I prepare my comps. I don't want to prepare anything until I get a confirmation that they're going to show up.
Sure.
I certainly don't prepare anything when I'm prospecting and before they schedule a time. So what I do is schedule the time, then I get it on the calendar. I follow up with the sellers, make sure they're going to be there. I always do it an hour before because people get busy. I get it. And then once I've got a confirmation, then I'll prepare. And again, it takes me anywhere between 15, 30 minutes, depending on how detailed I want to be for this listing appointment. Most of the time, it's a pretty templated way. When I get onto Zoom, I'll show them, just like we're doing right now. We're having a conversation right now is all we're doing. We're having a conversation.
Right.
And I'll share my screen. Do you mind if I share my screen? And I do it anyway. And I show them their Zillow profile. We go through that Zillow profile, verifying all the information, bedroom, bath, square footage, all yeses usually. Zillow sometimes likes to, exaggerate on the bedroom bath count sometimes. If it's 2.5 bath, they might just round up to 3. It's always good to get a confirmation. And then I'll go to their sales price. So tell me, how did you come up with the sales price? And you just listen, and you just listen. Well, I got this because, our linoleum in our laundry room is much better than the neighbors, and, whatever their reasoning, and I'll listen. Usually I can tell why they're expired by just on their answer. And I always have comparable sales ready to go. I'll share those comparable sales. If we have a conversation where they think it's $1 million and I think it's worth $850, the only thing we're talking about is those comparable sales and how we came up with that price.
Yeah.
I had a seller, about a month ago now, we closed it already. When he was a FSBO at $1,099,000. I knew he was out of his mind. I knew it. But that's okay. I'm not going to, I'm going to just hear him out. I want to schedule the appointment. I want to get the appointment, get the conversation going. And this is the reason why I do it. He started at $1,099,000. I said, so how'd you come up with your price? And I just listened. He rattled off all these irrelevant things. It just, my toilet paper roll is so much more powerful than the next guy. You get my point. And I didn't say anything. But when I asked him, well, how did you come up with that price? He explained it. He goes, well, maybe it's $1,025,000. He reduced his price on his own without even being asked $75,000.
Yeah.
We ended up selling his home for $850,000, $849,000, something like that.
Right.
And that's
he was okay with that, huh? So
that's what it was worth.
How'd you get him down that low?
Well, here's what we did. I said $1,025,000 is not going to work. Here are the comps. Here's why. I do appraisals for Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac. I know how to evaluate properties. I say it in a much more professional way, of course. But I explained to him, here's what I've come up with. Maybe I'm missing something. Here you go. Let's take a look at the comps together. Got him down to 935 just on that first initial from $1,025,000 down to 935. We're going in the right direction, aren't we? And if I think it's worth 850, and that's what it sold at. If I think it's worth 850 and he thinks it's 935, that's a little bit more realistic now, right?
Right.
Then I explained to him 850 is where you're going to sell it. You watch, mark my words. But because of our pricing strategy, we priced him below of that number, and it was obviously a much less traveled open house, because if you don't price it correctly, your open house is not going to work. But I wanted to show him, and we ended up getting his 850 or 849 or whatever it was. And he goes, well, and he comes to me, he goes, oh yeah, I wanted more, but he was surprisingly grateful. I thought it was gonna be the hardest thing in my life. And I was almost about ready to not take the listing because he was unrealistic. My question to him was, you think it's now worth 935 after being $1,099,000? Why do you think you reduced it that much? Well, yeah, I'm looking at the other homes in the area that are just like mine. And now we starting to answer his own question, right? And then we did our pricing strategy, and he saw
So
that.
what did you start the listing at?
We started at 935, but I did 15% below that.
Oh, so you did 15% below 935. So that
Because
was what?
the only reason why I would do that, if he said, I'm not going to take a penny less than 935, I would have continued with it's worth 850. But because he says, well, I'll waiting to see, because market value is created by buyers that are able, willing, and ready. That's market value. Once he understood that and agreed to the pricing strategy, then it was off. Now we had hardly any traffic to the open house because it wasn't strategically priced. What's that?
Did you do 85%?
Correct.
So you took him from $1,099,000 to 794, 750?
That was the start price.
Wow.
And it was only $50,000 under what it was worth market value. So anytime you only reduce it so much, like 50 grand is not a real big price reduction. But once you get somebody that agrees, that understands, yes, market value is market value, his want to sell turned into a need to sell. His need to sell brought him to a realistic number. So you got to have a conversation. And the reason why I bring that up is normally I would have told this guy to pound sand. It's not worth my time. But I had a conversation about price, and I figured I've already scheduled a half an hour with this person. Let's go through price. They're not seeing the presentation until we agree on a realistic neighborhood, at least, of what that home's worth.
Yeah.
And it worked out. But those are an anomaly. You want to get with sellers, because just about every FSBO and expired I talk to, and I think everyone on this call will agree, they're all way too ambitious with their sales price goals. So once you have that powerful conversation on what the actual home is worth, the reason why they're expired is because the seller said my home is worth this, and an agent agreed when it was overpriced, hoping for a price reduction, hoping for a miracle. Bad strategy. So you got to know when to cut bait. Rita, do you have a question?
I do. Can you just go back a step when you guys were talking about the 85%? What exactly are you saying you did?
Our pricing strategy for the 14-day home offers is first thing we do is we come up with an agreeable value, or at least a neighborhood of value. Then my pricing strategy that I've used is 15% below that for the starting price. That's the price that goes into the MLS, and that starts the traffic to the websites, that starts the traffic to the open houses, and that starts the multiple offers to the website. Pricing strategy matters. You're going to get more buyers when you price it below market versus pricing it at or above market. That's a math question.
Which
Okay.
a lot of people don't understand. Like a lot of people think you need to start high so you can have some room to drop the
Negotiate
price
down to the buyer, and that's a terrible way to go.
Yeah.
You basically
so
put the ceiling on that home.
What if somebody, wrote an offer at the 794 or whatever that number was?
The start price?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, our platform specifically explains that all buyers will go through the online offer process. They'll provide proof of funds and pre-approval, and that all offers are gathered Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday by 7. The seller will not even address an offer until after the offer's due date.
Okay.
So if somebody writes me a low offer, first of all, you don't write an offer, you submit an offer onto the online offers platform. And if it's for lower, there's specific instructions that tell them that the sellers will not review any offers until after the close of offers due.
Okay, got it. So this, I know the online platform. I've watched Kathy, and before that it was Mango, Bob.
Mm-hmm.
So is yours a different system, or is it the same one? Or
I used that system for many years. I've since updated my platform to the Seller Assist platform. Okay. And the iList cash offers. The other ones are great. It's just the process is the same. The platform is different.
Okay. All right, great. That's what I wanted to know. Thank
Yeah,
you.
no problem. Who else has been prospecting? Who's been out there? Jeff, you have a question, my friend. Go ahead.
Can you hear me okay? I'm in a coffee shop. I apologize if it's noisy.
No, you're good.
You're good? Okay.
Yeah.
The week, so let's say on this property you're talking about, you price it 794 or whatever the number is, 15% below 850. That week leading up to your open house, like what kind of marketing are you doing? I mean, I get it all over social media, all kinds of stuff. What are you, because here it is, it's listed on the MLS, like whatever coming soon at the 794 price, What kind of marketing are you doing to really, because your open houses obviously are just cranking. So
they're cranking.
Yeah. What kind of stuff do you do, in that week period?
Well, I do an e-blast to my database through my CRM. Every agent, everybody, doesn't matter if they're in the business, out of the business, looking for a home, not looking for a home. I invite them to the biggest event in the history of the world, and they need to come check it out. It's going to be amazing. That same enthusiasm. I do all social media, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, all of it. I pay nothing. I let the IDX feed get all the real estate websites on the planet. And that is what I do. I don't run a dime on ads. I don't do any of that. The price is the driver. Now, if you price, let's say a home is worth $1 million and it's worth $850, but you price it 85% below, well, guess what? It's priced where it should be, and that's not going to move the needle. You need to have an agreement that the price will be $850 and then price it strategically low from that number.
Okay.
But I don't spend any money on any of that stuff. Now, I do have an open house protocol. My buyer agents, they do video on Monday. They do doors on Tuesday. They do all these different things each day to drive traffic organically to the property. So I just let the IDX feed take it away.
Okay.
Gary, go ahead.
Yeah, I appreciate that last part. So you're out of town, or you let your buyer agents do the open houses. Now they're knocking on the doors for you too. How do you work that with the listing part? If somebody says, "Hey, I want to list my house," they come to your open house, but you got other agents in there. How does that work? How do you work that relationship there?
My buyer agents there's multiple different things. If there's a listing that they get from the neighborhood and they want to bring me in and do the same process, then I will do it with them. We'll partner on the transaction. Some agents just refer to me for a 25% referral fee because they don't want to get into listings. They only like buyers. That I don't understand, but that's okay. Some agents like working with buyers. That's their system. It all depends on my relationship with that agent. I use it to grow my team too. I'll reach out to agents that are not in my organization and saying, "Hey, Gary, I've got an open house that will be well-traveled. Are you looking to pick up some more business?" And if any one of these agents have seen my open houses, they know exactly what to expect. So the buyers that come through there, they all come through me because I check them into my system. Then I get them to my lender. They get pre-approved, and then I hand them back to the agents. This one's pre-approved, ready to go. This one's pre-approved, ready to go. And I do a 25% referral fee on the buyer agent's business from business driven from that traffic. Make sense?
You don't have an agreement and just says, "Hey, if you get a lead, it's pretty much your."
We get an agreement once they decide, if you want to do one of my open houses, you and I will sit down and go over to get an agreement going. Yes.
What I'm saying is a listing in the neighborhood. If they get a listing in the neighborhood, they give you a referral fee for that.
We work on those together. Yes. It's not a referral fee. We work on those together. I'm the listing agent or the buyer agent.
Got it. So any new leads that come from that community for listings, they're yours in your relationship.
They're ours.
You share it.
Yeah, they're ours. They're our leads.
Got it.
Yeah.
At what ratio? You pay them what? The split is what?
It depends on what I do. If it's a buyer agent sitting in an open house and I'm filtering them through, getting them pre-approved and handing them back, I get a 25% referral fee.
Buyers. Okay, but if
they come to me and say, "I've got a listing," great. Do you want to do it together or do you want to refer it to me? If you want to do it together, we partner 50-50. If they want to give it to me, they get a 25% referral fee.
Okay, got it.
Good. And it's your sign on the property, right?
Correct.
Right.
I get all the calls and I forward those calls directly to my buyer team for
Do you
whoever is assigned to that property.
Do you use 800 numbers for your calls?
I don't. I did before a long time ago, but no, not anymore.
Okay.
So I just opened up Radix, and first thing that pops up now are auctions, and they got the name and numbers there. And have you worked on those at all?
Absolutely. You need to call them immediately and say, I've got a cash offer for you. When can we review that offer? Via Zoom. It's good luck getting a hold of them. You may need to go to their home.
Yeah.
And listen, you don't have a whole lot of time left. We got a date. They know that date.
Yeah.
It's
It
probably
shows
like-
the date too. Shows the date.
It's in that big Target bag. Everybody has that Target shopping bag up on their kitchen counter where they put all the notices in.
Right. Right.
Mm.
It's amazing.
I think at the end of the day, FSBOs first, expired second, pre-foreclosure third. That's the pecking order in terms of lowest hanging fruit. You're going to get the auctions in there. Those are more time sensitive. And that's where the cash offers platform comes in for the notice of defaults, notice of trustee sales, and those auctions, the ones that actually have a date staring down the barrel of a foreclosure. Cash offers, get it to them, say, let's stave off that foreclosure. Most people, when you talk to them about in the NOD world, most of them want to keep their home until they've exhausted every option and they can't keep their home. If you started the dialogue and show them how to help save their home, how awesome is that if you help somebody save their home? But most cases, they won't be able to. But if you can help somebody save their home, you've got a raving fan for the rest of their life.
Right.
And here's what happens is they call you up. Hey, Robert, we followed all your instructions. I'm not giving legal advice. I'm not getting paid. I'm just giving them my 2 cents on how we can give them options to keep their home. The option is, you ready for it? It's really hard. Call your bank and ask what the options are. That's where you go. This is what you need to do to get right your ship. And a lot of times they can't fix it. So they bury their head in the sand. And that's a very proactive seller or owner to even reach out to get those options. They want to save their home and they're looking for ways to do that. If they can't, and you do everything you can to help them save their home, no legal advice, no getting paid, no loan mods, none of that. But if you help them genuinely give them solutions, or at least introduce them to solutions, and they finally say, I can't do this, and they have some equity, or maybe they don't have any equity, they just want to not get foreclosed on, who are they going to call?
Well,
They're going to call you.
I'm looking at this, and I just don't know how real it is on Radix. There's several $100,000 worth of equity in these properties. And
Yes, there's a lot of equity, a lot of equity. People, you know what they're doing right now, though? I talked about this on my podcast this week, is if you look at all, like, and I'm not bagging on New Day USA or, all those types of companies, but the message is pull your equity out, your hard-earned equity, pull that out and go on that trip or do these great things or do whatever. And everybody's being trained to pull their equity out. There's been 57 billion or trillion, or forget how big that number is. I was looking at it earlier. In the last quarter, there's been more money extracted in equity from equity lines and refinancing, cash out refinances than a very long time. What that tells me is people's loan to value is going, they're high, that's higher and higher. So their equity position is lower. So then what happens when that money is all used up and gone? You can't keep tapping into your home like an ATM. And that's what people are doing. That's why we talked on the podcast about the pre-foreclosure market. There's NODs, NOTs, right? Notice of trustee sales. You got the auctions like Gary mentioned. You have those folks. Pay attention to those numbers in your market. Those numbers are increasing every single day.
What point are you at when the bank sends the check back to you?
Say that one more time.
So, because I the clients I sold a house to 4 years ago, the daughter called me and told me they're losing the house, but their parents don't want me to help them, right? But she said they sent the bank sent the check back to them.
That sounds like it's already too late because they're not accepting more payments because the foreclosure's done.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, that's the only time a bank's going to turn away money.
Okay. I thought so.
Yeah.
I thought so.
Yeah,
okay.
that's not a good thing.
Okay. I know she said they had to be out by July 1st.
That was already foreclosed on, and that's the eviction period.
That's the eviction period.
Yeah,
Okay.
I did a martial lockout. For those of you who don't know what that is, when a home gets foreclosed on, and everybody thinks it's a great idea to write it out, and sometimes financially it makes more sense because the cash for keys that banks give, the relocation assistance is minuscule, and it just makes more sense because they know the process will take a good 6 months. And as in this case, we got the listing in January, the assignment, the REO assignment in January, and they were foreclosed and given, they're now occupants. They had to go 6 months it took to get them out. They had a martial lockout date this Wednesday. The marshals came, they went and knocked on the door. They usually, the buyers, the smart ones anyway, move before that lockout date because it's nothing more embarrassing than getting kicked out like in the Flintstones, when you get they kick what's that dog's name?
Dino.
Yeah, you get my point. So it takes some time. So the rents in that area were probably $4,000, $5,000. So you go 6 months. That I can understand that if the bank's going to give them $5,000 to get out in 30 days, I would just stay there, and that's a $60,000 thing. But it's also a knock on your credit. It's not something I'd recommend, but financially it made more sense for them.
Got it. Okay.
Who's working the NOD market? Anybody? Excuse me.
It's my intent to start doing that.
What's that?
It's my intent to start doing that.
It's a good intent, as long as you go in with the right intent. You don't come in with commission breath. You come in from, you're coming from contribution. You want to make sure that you're here. I want to help you. I'm a licensed realtor. I know this market. I want to help you save your home, because you know that most everyone you talk to, Gary, most everyone you talk to is going to say, I want to keep my home. What are those options? If you come in with, you better sell your home before you lose it, you're going to lose them. Gary, you had a question?
Well, just a contribution here. There was somebody that was giving a class somewhere, and his thing was, he actually went to the extent he would get like a Filler Express envelope, and he would put a letter in it, and then he would just put it on the door as if it was from Federal Express. There's nothing illegal that he did, but he said, your bank wants me to help you. He's not lying. The bank wants this to become a I forget the term, but to pay it up so that it's he's back making his payments. And of course, his whole thing is to get the listing. And he's like you, he just said he'll do everything he can say to them and help them to try to keep their property. But as we know, chances are they're going to lose the property, and who they're going to go to, but the person that's trying to help them.
As long as you're going there with good intentions, I think that's the secret sauce. Most agents come in hot. You're going to lose your house. I get a cash offer. Take it now. And they're buying it, or their investors buying it. What are their wishes? They say they want to keep it. You and I both know it's a very difficult thing to keep a home once you're that far behind. People have a hard time getting caught up. Their intention is to keep it. Your goal should be to help them keep it. And meaning point them in the right direction, give them the encouragement, be whatever resource you can without giving legal advice, real estate advice. I'm just somebody that wants to make sure that my community can avoid foreclosure if at all possible, knowing that a very high percentage of those will not be able to keep their home. Therefore, reach out to me. I want to help you sell your home and get the highest and best price, because I feel very confident that I can do that. Let's save their equity if there is any. If not, we can do a short sale, but we can get it done so it's not a foreclosure. You want to avoid foreclosure if at all possible. A short sale is much better than a foreclosure. Not good, still much better than a foreclosure. So
but don't you have to get in touch with the bank and make sure you have enough time to even do a short sale?
Oh, absolutely. But you got to remember, you can get a cash offer like that.
True.
You can stop that foreclosure, at least postpone it. And that's the goal. Now, if it's gone too far, then yeah, that's too far. But you don't know until you reach out. Most sellers or most homeowners bury their head in the sand and hope it just goes away.
Yeah.
So you got to find out what's going on. If you want to be helped, I need some answers. Show me your foreclosure notice. Let me know when your foreclosure date is. Banks don't want to take homes back. They want everyone to pay their mortgage off if at all possible, so they can keep redoing that money. My point is, their goal is not to foreclose and hope and pray they don't make their payments. They want to give them every opportunity to make their payment. but most sellers don't know what to do. If anyone on this call has ever been in any kind of financial situation, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. That is such a stressful time where you can't even think straight. It's like you're running down a hill, you're getting speed wobbles, you're about ready to wipe out. That's what life is like when you're in that situation. Go in knowing that. You want to help them, and you genuinely help them by guiding them to the right answers. Here are the solutions. You need to keep your home. You want to keep your home, contact your bank and find out how you can do that, because they're the only ones that are going to be able to help you. Now, there's a lot of companies out there that, I help people stay out of foreclosure. I'd be very careful about referring those. I'm not saying anything bad about them, but I don't know enough about them. Do the right thing, help them with it. That's how you reach out to that distressed market. When you help the distressed market, you're in tune and positioned and ready to go. Again, I did that on my podcast. We talked about the REO default market. When you work with notice of defaults, notice of trustees, that distressed market, it positions you to work in the REO market. I would recommend you start doing broker price opinions so you can position yourself to be in the REO market. But the default market, NOD, NOT, help you and guide you for the next market that's going to come.
Yeah.
Who else is prospecting? What other conversations are you having on a daily basis? What does your week look like? It's all about conversations. Who's having conversations on a regular basis with buyers, sellers, investors, and agents? Who'd like to open up? Gary, go ahead.
Well, again, just starting this week, somebody gave me an idea, and in San Diego County, we have a owner alert, which basically means you sign up your property in the county, and if anybody tries to steal your property, they'll send you an email letting you know that somebody's just changed your
home title lock promotes a lot of things.
Well, this is free from the county, so
I'm just saying, but that's a real thing. People are doing that. So absolutely.
My whole point is it gives me an excuse to talk to my clients. And the other one is now I'm telling them about I have a neighbor, and I'm probably going to get the listing once it goes through probate, but it's going to probate because they didn't put it in the trust. The mother didn't put it in the trust. So we're trying to convince all my clients that aren't in trust. And obviously we say, oh, by the way, if you know someone that wants to buy or sell, please let me know. I'm just trying to come up with reasons to talk to them.
And I'll put you in contact with my buddy, Tim Yates. He is the leading expert when it comes to living trusts and putting properties in that, but also using that, Gary, to your point, using that as a tool. Can you imagine if you reach out to your database right now? Let's say you have 100 people in your database, which is awfully low, but let's just use that number. You reach out to all 100 of those people on hey, this is Gary. Do you have your home in a living trust? Are you protected should in the event something happen? And I could tell you 8 out of 10, maybe 9 out of 10 do not have their home in a living trust. So Tim Yates with the legacy link, he is your guy. I'll drop some information if I can find Tim's info before we get off this call. But Gary, I'll certainly send you Tim's information. He coaches agents on how to reach out to your database and have that conversation. It's not all about calling if you want to buy, sell, or invest. Do you have a living trust? Are you protected? So I'll drop
Robert,
that.
I got Tim's stuff right here. I'll put it in the
if you can drop Tim's information in the chat box, that'd be great. Tim's got some amazing training on how to help you do just that, Gary. Help you with scripts and marketing and reaching out to your database and having that conversation about that very thing. Is your home in a living trust? And I think Tim told me it's like 87.3. So let's call it 9 out of 10 do not have a living trust. Good point, Gary. Who else is rocking and rolling? Jeff, after that call we had yesterday, what were some of the questions you had when we hung up? Any questions, concerns, comments?
I'm excited about it. I'm wrapping my head around it. I need to get signed up with you. I already have the multiple offers platform, so I'm just not sure. Like, I'm going to go in there and sign up in that thing, and I want to get all the nuts and bolts because I just want to crank this up. I really do.
Dude, I'm
excited about it. I mean, man,
it's pretty cool.
I've heard of the auction thing before. I've just never done it.
The auction thing, guys, is not new. I was doing that back in the REO market back in the day. Hudson and Marshall, auction.com, and all those others. Auction's not new. IRS, HUD, they all use auctions to sell their homes. It's the best way to sell their home. You know what? Also, you talked about probate, Gary. You talked about probate. What if you were to jump on the horn and contact 5 to 10 probate attorneys?
Yeah.
Saying, hey, guess what? This is what I can do to help your clients. Look at divorce attorneys for an example. You have a divorce, you have Mr. and Mrs. in most cases, right? Mrs. and Mr., they're probably not getting along is why they're getting a divorce. Let's use that example. Well, Mrs. wants to use this agent. Mr. wants to use this agent because they don't trust each other. But if you were to introduce to the attorney your transparent online offers platform, where every offer is fully transparent, Mrs. and Mr. can both see it in live time. Do you think that would be a tool for an attorney to at least introduce you and your process to their clients? I have a handful of attorneys that I work with, and they love it. They love it because it's transparent, because it's, well, you didn't take the highest offer. I didn't know where the offers were, typical back and forth, right? The transparent offers works beautifully with attorneys. I'm going to put my YouTube channel in here. If you guys ever have any questions about some of the stuff I've been doing in terms of trainings, I'll leave that in there. What else? What other questions do we have, guys? Thanks, Rich. Thanks for putting Tim Yates. I would recommend, guys, reach out to Tim, email him. Hey, I was on Robert's call today. I would really like to know more about your living trust training. He literally will train you how to speak to people with scripts, marketing, full support. It is amazing. You look like a hero. And there's lots of great, ask him about his open house marketing platform. It is killer. He gives you a chance to, because the living trust, I think his cost is like just under $1,000, where normal living trust are $2,500 to $5,000, depending on who you use. So it's a very affordable solution, but he gives you the tools how to reach out to your database. So reach out to Tim Yates. He's doing some really amazing things for our agents. What else, guys? Who's got some prospecting? Who's having conversations? Did you hold an open house recently? How'd that go? What's happening? What's going on?
Right now, just contacting past clients, and I went into a bank, and I just giving my card to everybody. That's again, I just went through prospecting with Mike Ferry, and I'm doing it once a week, and they're saying just talk to everybody, and
it starts with a conversation. So what I would recommend you do, but I'd rather have a conversation with somebody that wants to sell today than next year.
Right.
Your database is next year. Your FSBOs and expireds are today.
Yeah. You mentioned something that was when I was in the bank, they started asking me to do a line of credit, and when I said that right now, they were almost upset with me because I didn't want to do a line of credit right now. Well, what, you can start applying now, it's like, really? And I just started laughing.
But they're selling a lot of HELOCs, a lot of stuff going on out there. They want your money.
Yeah.
I love it. Keep rocking. Have conversations with people that want to sell today, then have a conversation with somebody who wants to sell tomorrow. You got to prioritize. Most people spend time on, you just got to prioritize who you're talking to. Conversations, you can only have so many conversations in a day. Make the most important ones first. Ben Franklin, start with the most important. What else, guys? Other questions, concerns, comments before we head on into an absolutely amazing 4th of July weekend, 250. Happy birthday, America. Super excited. And let's do this. If there's no other questions, what do you guys have planned for this weekend? I'd love to hear.
Nothing.
Nothing? Did I hear nothing?
I hang out with my 2 dogs, scared as hell of the fireworks, so I got to be with them.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I think my wife and I are, I'm looking at that pool right now as we speak, and it is beautiful out there. I might just go do a belly flop after we're done with this call. My mom's coming over. We're going to have brunch, and then we're going to hang out in the pool. I'm literally going to be the laziest person you've ever met in your life. I'm going to be on my floaty. I'm going to have my cocktail. I'm going to be watching the Padre game on TV. It's going to be fantastic. And we live up on a hill, so I can see like 5 or 6 different fireworks from our house. So it's that's going to be fun too.
With that, take care. I've got something coming up.
Gary, go get him. Have a great day, my friend. Somebody else is talking. See you, Gary. Who else had a question before we wrap this up?
No question. I was just saying I live in a senior community in Rancho,
Oh,
and it's quite active. And so, we're gonna have 4th of July. We have a bid with usually Friday night card party, but we are moving it over to Saturday, and this is our first one on the 4th. So we're gonna do barbecue, around the pool, and it's great. It's my community. There are 4 buildings over here, so a lot of people.
amen. Amen. Got a question for you for those who are remaining on this call. What are some topics that we need to prepare for next Friday? Got a 14-day process. I'm going to share my listing agreement. I'm going to basically walk everybody through how to prospect, what to say, who to call, what to say, how to get them on, how to schedule the appointment, then how to get the appointment. So I'm going to walk you through. That's what I'm going to walk through next week. So pay attention to that. If you have any questions, concerns, comments, reach out to me. And is there any other closing remarks before we say goodbye today?
No, I logged on because Lawrence encouraged me. I finally decided that after coming back from 3 years on a double cancer diagnosis. I have multiple myeloma and breast cancer and sarcoidosis, but I'm in remission and I'm doing good and I'm ready to get back on the horse. But I needed to figure out how I wanted to do it, and I don't want to deal with any more grief because I lost several close family members to cancer. It's a bad gene, my daughter included. So I said I don't want to do people who are grieving in the loss of their homes, that kind of stuff. I don't want to go through that. So we decided that I'm going to do FSBOs and expireds.
That's the right attitude. You got to remember, you got to find out what you're passionate about and go do that. So God is good. I'm glad you're in remission, and that is fantastic.
Yes,
That's
thank
fantastic.
you.
Keep prospecting,
Thank
keep
you.
having conversations. Remember, we all have the same amount of time each day. Use it wisely. If you're prospecting, put it down as a calendar and just make it happen. No excuses. Put your blinders on. You owe it to yourself and watch. You do it for 30 days. You prospect every working day for 30 days. Your business, it will be unrecognizable, but it starts with us. My dad always told me it works if you do. So
Indeed.
you guys are awesome. I appreciate it. Have a great 4th of July.
Michael.
Appreciate you guys being on. It's been an absolute my pleasure. And I always like to say, we'll see you in escrow.